Hi everyone, this is Veronica. Today we are going to talk about land degradation neutrality. Right? So we will see what is this concept, what is degraded land, what is desertification, how we can overcome it, what government of India is doing it to overcome land degradation. So we'll discuss in detail. You can connect with me on Instagram and Facebook because I feel together we can make a huge difference. Now, what is the relevance of this topic from your examination point of view? It can be covered under your mains paper 3, conservation, environmental pollution and degradation. At objective level, you should know this concept of land degradation neutrality. At subjective level, you should know what is the status of afforestation in India. So now in what context today we are studying this? Because in a recently inaugurated Asia Pacific Regional Workshop of the UN Convention to Combat Desertification, our Union Minister of Environment has underlined the critical need to achieve land degradation neutrality by 2030. So they have committed to rejuvenate 50 lakh hectares, that is 5 million of degraded land between 2021 and 2030. Moreover, a center of excellence would be set up in Dehradun for land degradation neutrality. So a state where So now talking about why they want to take such a move. Now see, you need to understand here that India faces a severe problem of land degradation or soil becoming unfit for cultivation. So about 29%, that is about 96.4 million hectares are considered degraded. So you can see the figures here of India and at global level. So total geographical area is 328.7 million hectares and globally it is 13.2 billion hectares. And India, the land under degradation is 96.4 million hectares, that is 29.3% of India's total geographical area, and when we talk globally it is 4 billion hectares. Now India has pledged to restore the degraded and deforested land, and same as the global pledges also. So now by 2022 what we decided to restore by 13 this million hectares, and by 2020 150 million hectares at global level. So the causes of desertification and land degradation are, whether in India or globally, that is overexploitation by various farm practices using excessive chemical fertilizers and pesticides, overgrazing, deforestation and poor irrigation practices. So what could be the solutions both at Indian level, at our national level or global level? Afforestation, water resource management and sustainable farm practices. So if we see the state of India's Environment Report 2017, it calculates that nearly 30% of India is degraded. We are talking here about the land or facing desertification. So this figure touches 40 to 70% in case of 8 different states. These states are Rajasthan, Delhi, Goa, Maharashtra, Jharkhand, Nagaland, Tripura and Himachal Pradesh. So various estimates put the economic cost of this degradation in the country at 2.54% of its GDP. Now we'll discuss this concept, land degradation neutrality. What does this mean? So we need to understand that LDN, so in short I will say LDN, it is a condition where further land degradation, so if we talk specifically about this term land degradation, it is a condition where it is a loss of productivity which is caused by environmental or human factors or anthropogenic factors. So LDN is a condition where further land degradation is prevented and already degraded land can be restored. And even these parties to the convention, they have defined it as a state whereby the amount and quality of land resources which is necessary to support the ecosystem functioning and services and which is important to support and enhance food security, it should remain stable or increases within the specified temporal and spatial scales and ecosystem. So here you can see that by 2030 we need to combat desertification, we need to restore degraded land and soil, include land affected by desertification, drought and floods, and we need to strive to achieve a land degradation neutral world. So this is the aim of land degradation neutrality. Now there are several benefits of land degradation neutrality. So first benefit you can count in as an land. See, here land is fixed in quantity. There is ever increasing competition to control the land resources. So if there is this piece of land and there are so many people around, so everybody is there, they want to control the land resources, and there is an increasing competition. So this land degradation neutrality, it represents a paradigm shift in land management policies and practices. So basically it is a very unique approach, because it is counterbalancing the expected loss of productive land with the recovery of degraded land. So if we are assuming that how much productive land has been degraded, so we are counterbalancing it by recovering those degraded areas also. But there is a problem, there is a potential, this has the potential to cause social and political instability, because it could fuel poverty, conflict and migration. So now when we have agreed at global levels to a concept of land degradation neutrality, then there is a problem with implementation also. So here we will talk about the implementation process of the same. So the implementation of LDN, it requires multi-stakeholder engagement and planning across scales and sectors, which is supported by national scale coordination that utilizes existing local and regional governance structure. So for example, UNCCD and the UN Environment Program, they have come together to mark United Nations General Assembly adoption of 2030 Agenda of Sustainable Development. So to date, around 120 countries have engaged with LDN, and they have a target setting program, and considerable progress has also been made since 2030 Agenda was adopted back in 2015. Now we will specifically talk about India's initiatives, like what is India doing in this regard. So this January, India became part of Bond Challenge. So what is this Bond Challenge? It is a global effort to bring 150 million hectares of world's deforested and degraded land into restoration by 2020 and 350 million hectares by 2030. So India's pledge is one of the largest in Asia. Now you see, Indian government has launched various schemes like Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana, Soil Health Card Scheme, Soil Health Management Scheme and Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana. So these are the prongs to tackle this land degradation. And India, for the first time, we will host a 14th session of Conference of Parties, COP 14 of the United Nations Convention. Why we are hosting this? Because we also want to combat desertification. So we are in party with this, and this will be from September 2nd to 13th. Now we will talk about these schemes in detail, like what India is doing. So firstly, we need to recognize that 24 billion tons of fertile soil and 27,000 biospecies are lost every year, and nearly 30% of world's population lives in dry areas. Now 8 out of 21 UNESCO World Heritage Sites are in dry lands. So this is a sorrow state. So we have launched certain schemes. So first scheme we'll talk about is Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. So this is basically to provide insurance coverage and financial support to the farmers in event of failure of any of the notified crop as a result of natural calamities, because failure usually takes place because of the natural calamities or pest invasion or diseases. Next thing under this is to stabilize the income of farmers to ensure their continuous in farming. Third thing under this is to encourage farmers to adopt innovative and modern agricultural practices. Fourth thing under this is to ensure flow of credit, that is very important for farmers to the agricultural sector also. So this is the one scheme. Another scheme that we have launched is National Food Security Mission. So under this is to bring out significant yield gain to the farmers, resulting into increase in their income. So ultimately we want to increase the income of the farmers, and this mission has target of additional production of 25 million tons of food grains comprising 10 million rice. Then there is 8 million tons of wheat. So here we are talking in tons, 10 million ton, 8 million ton of wheat, then 4 million ton of pulses and 3 million ton of coarse cereals. Then obviously there is soil health card scheme. So under this, it was meant to give each farmer soil nutrient status of his holding and advise him or her on the dosage of fertilizers and also the needed soil amendments that he should apply to maintain soil health in the long run. Then there is this Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana. It is associated with irrigation to ensure access to some means of protective irrigation to all agricultural farms in the country and to produce per drop more crop. Then the Swachh Bharat mission, where we were trying to eliminate open defecation through construction of household owned and community owned toilets and establishing an accountable mechanism of monitoring toilet use. And there is then National Rural Drinking Water programs and etc. So here now talking about UNCCD. Now see, it was established in 1994. It is the only legally binding international agreement linking environment and development issues. So what they address? They address specifically the arid and semi-arid and dry subhumid areas, which are known as dry lands, where some of the most vulnerable ecosystems and people can be found. And even in 2006, it was declared as International Year of Deserts and Desertification. So here one more thing I need to tell you, this COP, that is Conference of Parties. So what is this COP? Here I will explain you. See, this COP, it was established by convention as a supreme decision making body. It basically comprises ratifying governments and regional economic integration organizations such as your European Union. What are the functions of COP? See, one of the main functions of this Conference of the Parties is to review reports which are submitted by parties, where detailing how they are carrying out their commitments. So COP, it make recommendations on the basis of these reports. It also has the power to amend for the amendments to the convention or to adopt new annexes such as additional regional implementation annexes. And this COP, at third, they can guide convention as global circumstances and national needs change. So this is how this is decided land degradation neutrality. I hope this is clear. If you have any confusion, you can contact me. Thank you.